welcome to round 4 with Naya tokens on the play. Looks great. One, two, three. Oh my gosh. Not quite the Nisa curve, but pretty good. There's a non-zero argument for minusing Gideon here. Okay, so some sort of crypto with rights. Deck. Untap land? Well, flipping Lambhole Pacifist is good. Casting Gideon 4 also good. And Displays Without Colorless Mana is not so good. So that made that turn pretty elementary. We don't really have to make a decision between tap land and untap land because it's just not a choice. This also might bait my opponent to weird double spell actions or Reflector Mage when I can recast Lambholt. Well, I think my next turn's a no-brainer Gideon because I can't really think of how that deck. Oh, well, we also have a backup Gideon in case that one dies. But I just couldn't think of a way that deck actually kills Gideon from the spot. And even if they pressure Gideon, just being able to leave it on the battlefield is just such a huge game. It's not like replaying my 2-drop or my 3-drop's a better play. And Nahiri is just not a better play. So not only is this play good and like stabilized, my opponent just doesn't have better options. Or my hand just doesn't have better options, sorry. So getting into 2. Interesting. So face. Like that. I guess I could just make a token and tick up Nahiri. I like that a lot better. I don't know why I played my land first. Might get marginally punished for that. And I don't know what I want to discard here. I have a feeling it's not Avacyn. Probably the Gideon, actually. It's like Gideon or Displacer. Okay, I don't think the second Gideon is going to come. Oh, well. It was a terrible tapping on my part for no reason. I just like forgot I was representing potentially anything, and just now I'm just oath locked out of that turn. Opponent does have a million cards. Yeah, getting this Nahiri live is really important. I should not be discarding Displacer, actually. That was almost a huge mistake on my part. So that enters the battlefield untapped, so I can afford to lead on Oath here. Hooray! Well, um, yeah, I have done the thing, and hopefully my opponent does not have the other thing. And I think so. I'm definitely plussing to this card, the Pacifist. It's a very good draw. And I think I don't even care about adding a counter to Gideon at this point because it's just going to beast mode my opponent. So I'd rather just set up for the best case scenario if they do like upkeep company into Reflector Mage. They cast company, they have 7 outs. They're not casting company. No, they're just dying. I think if that was their plan, they're supposed to do this the other way around. So what's actually supposed to happen is that they uh, let the scry resolve. I guess they have a million scries before their draw step. Never mind. I forgot that all of their things were still dying. But there's like this weird consideration of how to stack like your scries and your instant speed stuff with like Collected Company and Catacomb Sifter and Dustwatch Recruiter. But I think they did it right. Well, I'm just gonna kill my opponent next turn. How's that sound? Sweet. I did this terribly for F6 value. Should have been able to F6 through that. Oh my gosh. This attack could have been for 17. That's so many. Okay, well, I want these and this other Dragon Lord. Kind of like an Evo Leap here. Not huge on Dem Protector. Want another hanger back and want this. 9 cards. Not huge on Linvala, but it might be okay. Kind of. Well, I definitely want to cut that. I think I want to cut the Nisas, and I want to cut like a Pacifist. It's like 6 locked-in cards. It's not born in a million Radiant Flames. That might be a little aggressive. Yeah, I'm not even sure on this Evo Leap. I already cut a Gideon. Let's cut another one. I don't think this card's very good here. And a Pacifist, maybe? Yeah, that seems like it makes my deck a little better against Reflector. And what do I get to Evo Leap into? Sure, maybe I cut... Yeah. There we go. Solve the problem. I might be going a little overboard, given the potential sideboard reality smashers I could be facing, but Don't think I want that early. Kind of wondering if second Atarka should be second Nahiri. That was a mistake. Drawing the second force is what makes that the mistake. Um, Actually, just in general, that's just a mistake. I can sequence that slightly differently. Oh, well. No longer really a mistake. So I was going to have to play my Needle Spires and have it enter the battlefield tap before Gideon enters the battlefield. So I'll have 2 Dragon Lords on the bottom. Well, I'm just going to take Archangel Avacyn just because that card is great. And why did I play the Forest instead of the Fortified Village? I'm too used to the Battle Lands. That's a pretty Dece plus draw. Just a creature that I can cast. Basically, I just want to have the maximum defenses for this Gideon next turn when my opponent inevitably end of turn companies. I guess I lose to like reflect like the perfects, but whatever. Oh, TKS. Interesting. So that probably takes Gideon. Yeah, I went a little overboard on not creatures. I should not have the leaps, and I should not have the second Radiant Flames, probably. I should have some decks. Yeah, definitely in big trouble here. I think I win this game by just taking this and Avicenning next turn. Rewarded. How many outs was that? 4, 4, 2, 6. Probably not good enough odds, but I don't think Dramoka's command is going to cut it. Okay. So they know about that. Think this is the right play? That's a very, very good draw. I think I want to leave up command here. That might just be enough. What are my outs? At 4. So I have to. It's such a good play otherwise. I could have flickered my Archangel indestructible and then Dromokaed something down. I can draw Dragon Lord Dromoka or Linvala. What play gives me the most options there? Well, I'm pretty sure I have to do this. And I'm pretty sure I have to do this and discard a card. That was the wrong timing to do that, but I don't think it matters. No, the card's already countered. And I can make these blocks, and I can draw another Radiant Flames. Okay. So, how did Dromoka not get in? It's good against the... Well, it's not actually even that good. I definitely need those against this plan. I want one less of those, and I want that still. I'm going to go back up a Gideon on the play. Just not sure how huge I am on Radiant Flames against that if my opponent's going down that road. This is probably fine. I guess I don't really like the Dromoka at all, honestly. It's really good if my opponent doesn't like lead on a Thought Knot Seer. That's like this huge issue, though. It's great against Smasher if it's on the battlefield, though. Where's it's better than Linvala because of that interaction alone. It's got a high drop for it, which isn't Nahiri. Don't think it's any of those. We'll try this. This is definitely one of those hands that I am very glad that the Vancouver Mulligan rule is in effect for. Yes, please. So I want to play this, leave the plains in my hand in case I draw a untapped source on 3 that requires it, so fortified village. Just gonna cast Radiant Flames on 3, I think, if my opponent has any creature. So I can't afford for this hand to get Thought Knotted on 3. Fine. I won't let you negate. So excited too. Maybe I was just supposed to cast it because I can't beat that anyways if they have the negate. Yeah. I don't know. That's close. There might be a time where you just have to call. Not. Oh my gosh, that was horrific. Well, I have a new plan. It's make it 6/5. It's like clicked the wrong land for no reason there. Though, I guess this setup might actually be better depending on what the follow-up is. Opponent's also going to 14, which is not a very high life total. And they're also missing land drops, so accidentally locked myself into a really good play. Please don't have float mana into Collected Company. Oh, they just have nothing. Perfect. And now... let's see what happens. What do we got? Ooh. I like Needle Spires here. See this. The Advocate's not going to enter the bat. I guess I could have... I don't have the 6 land on time for the Advocate. This just puts my opponent at, like, a decent number of permutations of lethal, and I also have Nisa, and they also can't tap their lands for pain mana. just gonna bounce my Archangel. That's fine. So I guess I should just not play the card that my opponent doesn't know about. I think making the 4/4 seems pretty good here. Okay, we've got a game. That was lucky. Neither of those make red. I think I'm just supposed to get a forest. This attack forces a chump block out of my opponent. Well, not chump, but a trade block out of my opponent. Presumably for Thought-Knot Seer, which gives me another draw, which is pretty good. So they get to go block, flicker, go to 2. That doesn't seem right. Guess they can flicker their reflector, but just anything, any result of this that, like, I'm going to kill some other stuff, so I'm okay with that. Okay. That this is just the best possible outcome for me. Unless they have another Thought Knot. They know about the forest. Just get that out of my hand so I have the maximum amount of mana on later turns. This is probably another Thought Knot. That's fine. Really? We didn't... Wow. Okay, so I have more shots at this? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. straining my opponent's ability to kill all of my things on the battlefield, forcing them into worse and worse spots. That's fine. Oh, wow. This is actually super threatening because they can die to the Gideon very easily on the way back. And the Needle Spires. I mean, I'm not casting Avacyn. My opponent should tap the Reflector, and they just lost the game because of that, I think. They're supposed to tap the Reflector, and then they get to leave up a Flicker, and now they're just dead on board. Unless they have a land. Even if they do have a land, it's not pretty. 5. So I can put them to 1. This works. I think this is right. So I can force a Flicker. That they don't have land. Kind of unfortunate, but that's life. They're at 1 still, and we're forcing them to churn a lot of things in a turn cycle. I mean, I'd like to repeat my previous phrasing of I'm not casting Avacyn. That is... hmm. So my opponent can counter that unless I force a spot here. So I guess I just beast mode. Beast mode and shove. This card's really good. Is it creature spells? Spells with the same name. So this targets that. And then I just kill my opponent. Sack your enchantment. This fights this. Whammy. That's one vote for Needle Spires. Certainly did not mind that aspect of the deck so far.